Another day, another box crouching episode. We're at episode number 57 of our daily recaps. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts about today's games. What are your thoughts about the NBA as of right now? And let's get right into it as the Hornets get blown out at home by the Atlanta Hawks. And well, what to say right here, right? Well, the Hawks have been struggling themselves a bit with, some injuries, some bad play from Trae Young, and just overall not enough continuity with their roster right now. They have been getting a little healthier. Everyone is gonna come back sooner, even though they just lost Clint Capella for a week or two. I feel like everyone else is getting healthier. They should get John Collins back soon. They got DeAndre Hunter back. They got Bogdan Bogdanovic back, and everyone is getting a little healthier. DeJounte Murray should be back soon, and we'll see how they fare then and if they can stay healthy. Trae Young hopefully finds his shot again. Today was one of his most efficient games of the season. He had 31 points and 9 assists. He was solid himself, but the game is about Bogdan Bogdanovic, who has been absolutely killing it on the offensive end. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 9 of 14 from the field, 7 of 10 from the 3-point line. And man, he's a sniper, right? He's just a sniper. So shout out to Bogdan, man. He is just playing out of his mind offensively, and that's what the Atlanta Hawks need. They got a feel-good win. Everyone played great except the garbage time guys. You got the bench coming in and playing sensationally. Frank Kaminsky with 12, 7, and 5. AJ Griffin with 13, 2, and 2. Jalen Johnson contributed with 4, 5. You got Aaron Holiday with 11. Just a great game for everyone for Atlanta, and a feel-good game, after a rough stretch. And well, for the Hornets, it's the same thing. They can defend. Their coach called them out on it, and well, they didn't do anything about it, right? And Kelly Oubre started off the bench tonight, and well, it didn't work. He shot 5 of 19. He was 26% from the field, just 16 points, and it was ugly. It was ugly basketball from the Hornets. Shout out LaMelo. He was nice, 7 of 13 from the 3-point line, 27 points, but man, is this team horrible, right? And the vibes are off. The coach is pissed off. They are just horrible. Then we head to Detroit as the Kings wrap up their long road trip away at Pistons with a victory in Detroit. The Kings, man, sitting at 16 and 12 now, pretty solidly themselves, like at the 5th spot or 6th spot in the Western Conference right now, which is pretty solid, right? And they are playing great ball. The starters were sensational today. De'Aaron Fox with 24, 5, and 9. You got Kevin Huerter with 13, shooting efficiently. Domantas Sabonis, his usual self, 23, 13, and 7, 2 steals, 1 block. Man, he can put up some great stat lines, right? And I mean, he's playing great basketball. It's not just about the stats, right? Keegan Murray with 20. The rookie is, shooting the ball well after the rookie slump. And Harrison Barnes with 19, 7, and 2, 3 steals. And the culture and everything in Sacramento just feels much nicer. And even though the bench struggled today, the bench has been sensational. The whole team has been just great. And shout out to Mike Brown. Shout out to the players for instilling this culture. They are having those defensive players of the game chains and everything. It just looks like a great time to be, a Kings player, Kings fan. Shout out to the Kings, man, for finally showing us something else than just, depression, I suppose. And, the Pistons have been better lately. They struggled today. They were kind of out of sync in the second half where the game got away from them. And yeah, it happens, right? They are a bad team. They have a lot of young players that need to figure more things out. Killian Hayes has been figuring it out lately. He was okay today, 11 points. You got Jaden Ivey with just 5 points. He has to figure it out a little more. Jalen Duren, the rookie, is figuring it out really well. He started these last couple of games. He's been sensational with 15 and 14 today in 30 minutes. Isaiah Stewart with 13 points. He's been shooting the ball pretty good, which is crazy to see, right? When when you watched him last year, you wouldn't guess this. Bojan Bogdanovic, we know he's great. Today wasn't one of his better games. And Marvin Bagley and Sadiq Bey off the bench, another young guys that are solid, figuring it out a little bit. Sadiq Bey with 14. We'll see if they trade him or not, because that has been the speculation. Marvin Bagley with 13 and 6. And yeah, that's about it about this game, right? Then we head to Boston, where the Celtics got beaten by the Magic, who have been playing some really good basketball. The Magic had a long home stretch where they kinda got right and were winning, got healthier, and it looked great. And then went on the road to the Boston Celtics, that have been the best team in the NBA at this point in time, and they just beat them comfortably, I would say. And it was just fun to watch, fun to see. You got Franz Wagner, who is solid, even though he didn't shoot the ball well. you just see the guy's potential. He has great length, he can shoot the ball, he can finish around the rim, he can, even play make a little bit, which is great, and they complement pretty well with each other. With Paolo, who was really good today with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He's not finishing as well as you would like him to, but at the same time, he's still putting up great stats, getting to the free throw line, getting his 20 points every night, which is sensational for a rookie. And, he really reminds you of some type of version of LeBron. And also, shout out to Mo Wagner, who had 25 and 8 today in 23 minutes. He was pretty solid offensively. But this game was mostly about the bench and the point guards. Shout out to Markel Fultz and Cole Anthony, who, have been healthy now for like 5 to 6 games, and they've been figuring it out. They, play great of each other, played great without each other. Markel Fultz has been setting the tone defensively, I feel like, and he closed it out today, which was fun to see, because, Markel had his struggles as the number 1 pick, had his, lows, and it's great to see him having these highs now, and hopefully he can get even better and better. Cole Anthony off the bench was sensational with 14, and he's figuring it out himself. And the Magic just, look more locked in offensively. They play much better defense, and it just looks they are having a blast playing basketball, and that's what it's all about, right? And for Boston, they, rough loss for them. They shot 11 of 46 from the 3-point line, which is 24%, which, for their standards as of this season, it's not them, but at the same time they were bound to kind of go down, because this shooting anomaly probably can't last the whole season, right? But they got Robert Williams back, Al Horford was back, which is great for them for these upcoming games that are coming, and Robert Williams looked healthy, looked pretty solid there. He filled the stat sheet with 9-5, 1-1-1, and I mean, you're happy that you see these guys back. Al Horford is back, you're a veteran leader, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown played pretty okay. 26 points for Jaylen, 31 for Jason, but it was not as impactful as you would like it to be. The bench didn't play that well, and they just got outplayed by Orlando, man. It is what it is. Then we head to Cleveland as the Cavs continue their damn year unbeatability at home against the Pacers, and this was one hell of a game, actually. Both teams going back and forth. It was tight. It was actually in the most of the time on top, but the Cavs came storming back in that fourth quarter thanks to a sensational Donovan Mitchell, who had 41 points, 3 assists, 14 of 24 from the field, 8 threes on 15 tries, and man, has he been special when, called up on, and it's been great to see. Shout out Darius Garland, shooting efficiently, didn't, force anything today, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. It's great to see him bouncing back a little bit. He's been a little off with his shots lately, but great to see him bounce back today. Caris LeVert off the bench has been playing better since he started those 2 games in place of Donovan Mitchell, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Cherry Osman with 14 off the bench, and then you got Jared Allen and Evan Mobley being sensational defensively. Evan Mobley having even 16 points and 9 rebounds, which is great. Lamar Stevens didn't, follow back that great game against Luka, but hey, you'll take what you can get from him. And just a great win for the Cavs, who were, kinda getting beaten by the Pacers, getting outplayed, but they turned it up in that fourth quarter and got a great win, keep up the pace at the 3rd seed, and they are still hovering around that 1st and 2nd seed. They got they can get there, I think, with the Bucks and Celtics, who have been playing a little more inconsistently lately. Then you have then with Indy, they played great, but man, they kind of choked it away, right? They played some really great ball in those first 3 quarters, but they just crumbled in that fourth quarter. It's rough losing a game when you shot 53% from the field almost, and they're playing so great, but the defense has let them down again. The defense has not been great for them, and it makes sense. They're a young team. They got a lot of players that, try on defense, but sometimes some players aren't good, some players are. And it's a little rougher, and yeah, I'm not sure if the stats back it up, but I feel like their defense is just not great. And it feels like they always give up big leads or give away big leads. They are always in tight games, I feel like. And yeah, Benedict Mathurin with 22 off the bench continues, to play pretty great. Aaron Neesmith had 14 on 6 of 8, but the bench overall's impact wasn't as great. They shot the ball well. The defense, as I said, was bad. Tyrese Haliburton with 17 points, 14 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, but he didn't make a 3 and wasn't as effective offensively. Maybe took some bad shots in the fourth quarter. Andrew Nemhardly just 5. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about him. Miles Turner with 12 and 11. Buddy Hield with 14. Some solid basketball from the Pacers and just a rough loss. Then we head to Philly as the Sixers defeat my Warriors. And I mean, the Warriors on the road, right? I talked about it in my video in one of my latest videos. Then, Steph Curry out for a few weeks, which will probably be a month at best. And yeah, it was actually much better than I expected, right? Players played great. Shout out to Kevin Looney, who had 14, 11, and 9, man. Such a shame he couldn't get the triple-double, but a great game from Loon, who is just a great player. You have Donte DiVincenzo with those 5 threes in that first half. First quarter had 17, 10, and 6. He is a great player, and it's great to have him as a backup, guard forward. Jordan Poole had a pretty solid game offensively, 29 points. He showed us, that he still has it in him. Hopefully he continues to play better. The defense has to improve, of course. But this game was about Klay Thompson, who just, Klay didn't show up at all. He was dealing with some hamstring injury and played horribly. And I feel like if he didn't play, we could have had a better chance. Because, we were playing really great basketball and were in it. Were better the first half, then it got away from us. And that in the third, fourth quarter, and we just couldn't get back to it. But Klay forced some bad shots. I don't know, man. Hopefully Klay doesn't chuck too many shots during this stretch without Steph. And get JaMychal Green off the team, man, please. And let's not forget about James Wiseman, man. Shout out to James, even though he wasn't great. I feel like I saw some improvements. 6 and 4 in 12 minutes. He didn't play bad. It wasn't great. Wasn't good, but he was okay. And I mean, on the Sixers side, you already know they got a lot of great players. Still without Tyrese Maxey, of course, who will be out for a couple of weeks. But Joel Embiid, sensational player, 34, 13, 4, 4, and 2. He commanded so much attention on defense. James Harden was cooking also with 27 points, 9 assists, 8 of 15 from the field. You have DeAnthony Melton, who I told you was going to be a great role player for him. And he's starting. He's playing great. 17, 9, and 7 with 2 steals, man. Shout out to DeAnthony Melton, what a great game from him. Even though the bench didn't shoot that well, they still played great. You got Shake Milton with 11, 6, and 3. Georges Niang with 11. He still made 2 threes and some timely shots they needed. Daniel House with 6 points. And the Sixers play some really great defense, right? They have a lot of great defensive personnel. They really buy in on that end. And it's been, great to see from them. We'll see, where they play some better teams on the road and something like that, because they didn't play as great on the road. But they are playing great right now and are on a 4-game winning streak. Then we head to Toronto as the Raptors lose again, now on a 4-game losing streak against the Nets, as Kyrie hits the game winner and the Nets are on a 5-game winning streak. And shout out to the Nets, man. They have been playing some really great basketball. I'm still, I'm not gonna be sold on them until a lot of things, but I'll make a separate video about that. Let's talk about the present right now, where they are playing great basketball, playing solid defense, even though today wasn't one of the better defensive days of them, but they are playing just better on both ends, more cohesive. Everyone is in the lineup. They are pretty healthy, and it's been great to see. You got KD, he is sensational, effective as ever, 28 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Then you have Nick Claxton, who I feel like has been such an underrated player for him. He had 15, 10, and 6 blocks. And Kyrie, who has played some really great basketball since coming back to the team. He has 32 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Ben Simmons played. He had 10 and 5 and 5, and even though he missed those 2 free throws in the fourth quarter, which still scares you a hell of a lot, he is playing some good basketball. The bench is solid. TJ Warren is playing some good offensive basketball. You have Yuta Watanabe, who is sensational. I really like him a lot. 17 points off the bench in 20 minutes, man. What a player he has been for them this year. And Joe Harris has been shooting better and playing better. And they are just, figuring it out together. So solid defense, great offense, and they are just putting it together. And you can say the complete opposite about the Raptors, who are not putting it together at all, right? They are not playing some great basketball. Fred VanVleet, he had 39 points. After that 42-piece he had against the Kings, but it wasn't enough, man. They had just 8 bodies playing. Those guys have to be tired a little bit, and they are mentally probably not at the right place right now, as they are playing pretty bad. Scotty Barnes has been better, 26-3-3, but it's still, doesn't feel the same with the Raptors. The defense is not great. The production is not as great. Pascal Siakam has not been himself these last couple of games with 17, 7, and 5. Just 7 of 15 shooting. Juancho Hernan-Gomez, 40 minutes, that's crazy kinda. They were, of course, missing today Gary Trent, who has been playing some okay basketball off the bench for him, which obviously was missing today. Shout out Malachi Flynn, he played great, 13 points, but the Raptors are just, I don't know, something's wrong with them. It wouldn't be a thing if it felt like they were improving and were just losing because other teams got even better. But it feels like they are getting a little worse, a little weirder. Their younger players aren't developing as much as you would like them to. And it's just a weird thing with these guys right now. I don't know what to think about Toronto, man. I just don't know. Let me know your thoughts about Toronto, man. What do you think is their, biggest problem, and how do they fix it? Then we head to Chicago as the Bulls get beaten twice by the Knicks in 3 days, man. Crazy things, right? The Knicks are on a 6-game winning streak. God damn it. And the Knicks might not be made at all after all. They are playing some great basketball, taking advantage of their schedule. Playing great basketball at the right time. You got RJ Barrett with 27 points. He's been playing a lot better. Julius Randle with 10, 19 and 12, even though he didn't shoot the ball well, he's playing some great basketball overall. Jalen Brunson with 22 points, he's shooting the lights out of the basketball, and he's just a great player. A great signing for the Knicks. You got Quentin Grimes, who's been in the starting lineup and been playing great, 22 points, 5 threes again today, and he's been just sensational in the starting lineup. The bench wasn't, shooting efficiently. We got Emmanuel quickly, 1 of 12. But at the same time, it didn't matter because the Bulls were just that pathetic. But the starters of the Knicks were sensational today. Greatly sensational. I don't know what the hell am I going to say there. But they have been sensational, have been playing great. And yeah, they are on a 6-game winning streak and are looking good. We'll see how they fare when they play, a little better opposition. But, who cares, right? As long as they get into the playoffs, it's a great season for them. And, well, on Chicago's side, yeah. What to say about the Bulls, man? We all know what's wrong, like. Those 3 guys, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic just don't fit together. They are bad together. It doesn't make sense to play them together. It just doesn't fit. And the trade has been woeful, but it doesn't matter right now. It's been 2 years. We do not care about that trade. Patrick Williams has not been, what you want from a 4th overall pick, which I feel for the Bulls because, we had Wiseman, but we have the titles. I can't, say I feel like the Bulls with Wiseman, right? Because it's a whole different situation. But a lot of bad fits on these teams. Lonzo, of course, man. That's just an unlucky situation for everyone involved. And it's just sad with that, but what can you do about it, right? It's nothing. And yeah, I don't know what the Bulls can do. They have to blow it up some way, somehow, but what will they do? I don't know. Will they trade DeMar? Will they trade Vucevic? What value do they have? Will they trade Caruso? Will they trade, I don't know, Kobe White maybe? Who knows, man? Who knows what they will do, but it's not been great. Zach LaVine has some, clearly there is something going on between Zach LaVine and Billy Donovan, as the Bulls fans have pointed out. You can see it, some post-game comments, some, weird rotations, weird stuff between these two. And yeah, even though they extended Billy Donovan, are you sure you wanted to extend him? I don't know, man. The Bulls are in a bad spot right now, man. A bad spot for them. Then we head to Oklahoma as the Thunder lose to the Timberwolves. Yeah, Timberwolves finally get a great win, even though they were without Rudy Gobert, which is funny enough, right? But I mean, I guess, right? Maybe he's the problem. Who knows? Naz Reid was sensational in his place. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Shout out to Naz Reid, man. What a great backup pick for him. Anthony Edwards with one of his better games on this road trip. 8 of 16, 50% from the field. 19 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. You get Austin Rivers with 20 points, man. I don't know when he had 20 points last in an NBA game, but he iced the game with that 3-pointer that he probably shot way too early, but he made it, so it didn't matter at the end, right? But man, what a ballsy shot that was. The bench, Jalen Noel was great. Otherwise, the bench didn't give them anything. But they get a win that they needed on the road, and we just have to wait and see how the rest of this road trip goes, right? And for the Thunder, they are getting back to where we expected them to be. Shea, even though he was sensational, is not shooting at that 60% from the field level that he was early in the season in that hot stretch. Still getting to his 30 points because man, he's a great player. He's sensational. He gets to the line perfectly. He knows his spots. He knows how to play the game sensationally. He had 35, 7, and 5. He was great, but it's just not enough with the other players not, playing up to the standard they were at the start. The defense has been skimming. And yeah, shout out Jalen Williams. I like what I see from him offensively at least. You got Poku, who has been worse lately. Josh Giddey, 11, 13, and 6. I'm still not sure about their fit with Shea, but I mean, he's a good player. Not a great player, but a good player. And off the bench, shout out to Aaron Wiggins and Eugene Omoruyi, who had both 14. That was fun to see. And a really rough loss against these T-Wolves that were, undermanned and playing bad basketball. If you want to, continue to maybe striving for a playing spot, but I think that ship sailed right now. We'll see. But at least Shea is playing and we get to see him play. They need that one pick. They still need Chet back. And yeah. Then we head to Dallas as the Mavs continue to be the Mavs and blow out the Trailblazers. And I feel like this was the most Dallas Mavericks, game you could see. They shot 18 of 43 from the 3-point line, 55% from the field. They were just unstoppable offensively. They played good enough defense, right? And it didn't matter because they just outshot the Blazers at home. And when they get going at home, they're unbeatable. They are just unbeatable when they get going at home. It do not matter who is against them. If they are shooting well and getting ahead to huge leads at home, they are damn near unbeatable. They are just sensational when that happens, right? It needs to happen more often for them, but I mean, I don't know. This team is what it is. We've all talked about it a lot. This team is not great. This team is a Luka-centric team, which we all know. They got some solid pieces around him that have not been playing up to a okay standard, but they have been stepping up lately. We'll see if they can string together a couple of wins, go on some winning streak finally, and maybe we can be a little more optimistic about them. The greatest thing about them right now, of course, Christian Wood off the bench with 32 and 12. He's been playing sensational these last couple of games. That is great to see. The bench overall has been better. Frank Ntilikina, shout out to him. Kemba Walker played. So I guess there's that, even though he already played against Chicago, which I didn't even notice because they got blown the fuck out of the floor right there, right? So, yeah. Spencer didn't even just 13, but I mean, he's shooting efficiently and he makes the shots you need him to make. Tim Hardaway with 17, he's been their third best player. I feel like these, last 10 games probably even right now. Since he's figured it out, they have been much better. Yeah, and on Portland side, a tough luck on them. They didn't play that bad over defense, but the defense was a little all over the place and the offense just couldn't keep up with Dallas. Dame had 24 in 24 minutes, which is great. Anthony Simons with just 7 points. He needs to get to the line more when he's struggling from the field because then he has games with 6, 7 points and he's been having a couple of those here and there. He's been sensational, don't get me wrong, but in those type of games he needs to figure out how to get to the free throw line a little bit, maybe get going by that because that's what the great players do as always, right? And Jeremy Grant had a bad game that happens. Yusuf Nurkic with 16 and 6, he was solid. Shaden Sharp with 10, that's something fun. And Trendon Watford, shout out to him, man. He's been sensational. 16, 11, and 6 today. 24 minutes, he was plus 6 for him, even though they got blown out. And I mean, overall, he's been a great role player for him. He does a lot of things well. Shout out to him. And last but not least, we have the Lakers beating the Nuggets at home. Yeah, but let's start with Denver, right? Their defense is just bad. It is what it is. Their defense is bad. Even though they have some okay, good personnel on defense, they just can't figure it out, put it together. They are still missing Michael Porter Jr., who has looked this year a little improved on defense and to be improving, but he's missing another, a lot of games again. Bones Highland is a bad defender, we know that, but when he doesn't give you offense and is minus 24 in 15 minutes, it's really bad. It's really rough. And I don't know, man, how do they fix it? Can they win a title with being the best offense against the worst? Can they win the title with just outshooting everyone and outplaying everyone offensively? Maybe they can be the first team to really do that, because I'm not sure if anyone really did that ever. And I'll make a separate video about their defense and about how it compares, to the championship teams that they want to be. And yeah, I'll be working on that and I'll be releasing that sometime soonish enough. But yeah, Nikola Jokic 25, 11 and 8, 4 steals. He was fine. Just their defense just gave the Lakers everything they needed, and when they went cold during the third quarter, fourth quarter start, they just couldn't get back in it, and they couldn't stop the Lakers for their damn lives. And then on the Lakers side, right, you got LeBron with 30, 9 and 4, 2 steals. He was sensational tonight. Shout out to LeBron, man. What a great game from him. Still fun to watch him dominate when he can. And shout out to Russ off the bench. He had 15, 11 and 12. He was sensational today. And Austin Reeves off the bench had 16. He has been sensational, as I've been saying. Thomas Bryant, 21 points. I told you to look out for him because he was pretty solid. Shout out to Max Christie, who got in the game and shot 3 threes, made 2 of them, and was really good. And yeah, AD left the game, as we all know. 10 and 4. He might need an MRI. It looked like I'm not sure if it was an ankle sprain. I'm pretty sure it was an ankle sprain while he was in the air, and he didn't return to the game in the second half and didn't finish the game, of course, then. I think they said he's getting an MRI today, so we'll see if he's out for long, if it's just, a day-to-day thing. Shout out, hopefully AD... hopefully it's nothing serious, and no jokes about series goals or anything, man. It's just unlucky, and it's, mental physique, and, the NBA schedule is tough on a lot of bodies, man, and it's easy to get injured like this. No matter if you're injury prone or not, man, it's easy to get injured in, this NBA league, and hopefully AD has much more luck on his side this year and for the rest of his career than he has been having so far. Yeah, a lot of games, a lot of blowouts, some great games, some really fun watches, especially Orlando. Shout out to Orlando, man. I really enjoyed watching them. And yeah, let's see what we have on this fine Saturday, right? Wizards Clippers early for me. I'll be watching that then. Mavs Cavs. Hopefully Luka plays. It's a back-to-back for both teams. Hopefully they all play, because that should be a good one. It's in Cleveland, and they played just, a couple days ago, right? And Cleveland won in Dallas, so that should be a good one. Jazz Bucks. Jazz have been playing much better. Bucks have been a little struggling, even though they are at home. It should be a good one. Grizzlies are playing. That should be, they are fun. Suns Pelicans. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. We all know what that is about, right? So I'll be here to cover it all, and check out my latest video about the Memphis Grizzlies that I made. Leave a like, leave a comment, and yeah, subscribe, and I'll see you all tomorrow.